Hello, hi everyone. This is the last lecture of this chapter 3, that is aptitude. In this lecture, we will discuss tolerance and compassion towards the weaker section. After this lecture, we will be having model answers for the previous UPSC questions on this chapter 3. I will provide you model answers for few questions and the rest of the questions you can answer on your own. In the previous lecture, we discussed the difference between sympathy, empathy and compassion. And I have been telling you so many times in the previous lecture that empathy is a very important and foundational value for the civil services, especially in India. That is not an important value in the Western societies. Western societies are focusing more on the objectivity. But in Indian society, empathy is a very important value. Empathy is attitude and behavior is compassion. In this lecture, we are talking about the compassion towards the weaker sections and also tolerance. I have also explained you the tolerance. Tolerance is also linked with empathy. If you are understanding other problems, you will develop the tolerance. If you are not understanding, if you don't have the knowledge for the other people's problems, then there will be intolerance. You will not tolerate their lifestyles. You will not tolerate their habits, food habits. You will not tolerate their practices. You will not tolerate their religion. You will not tolerate their customs, culture, etc. That is why you should, as a civil servant, that's why in the training, as part of foundation course, they will send you to various places of the country to understand the overall cultural diversity of this country, to have an understanding of the cultures across South India to North India and West India to East India, so that you can be empathetic towards the problems of the all sections, all regions of this country. So what is the tolerance? Tolerance, the definition of the tolerance I have provided you. Tolerance is an objective, fair and permissive attitudes towards those whose opinions, practices, race, religion differ from one's own. If you don't know the other people's problems, you will have certain biases, prejudice in your mind. But as part of Bharat Darshan, when you are working with NGOs as part of your probation or foundation course, then you will understand the other, you will understand, you will appreciate, you will accept the diversity of various cultures of this country. Because this country has got huge diversity. So how tolerance is fostered? It is fostered by knowledge, openness, communication, conscience, belief, freedom of thought, etc. It is not only a moral duty, but also a political and legal requirement. These days, it is a political requirement. Even not only now, since the Britishers' time, even we have seen what happened during the partition. There have been various movies of late these days, so many movies that are coming up during the British era and also depicting the stories revolving around the partition. What happened? There was no tolerance. You are not having a permissive attitude towards other religions, other practices, other cultures. Then what happens? You will develop that intolerant attitudes. So what intolerance leads to? Intolerance leads to mindlessness, destruction, which is not good for a harmonious society. Gandhiji always believed in tolerance and harmony. For a country like India, where there are so many cultures, where there are so many languages, where there are so many religions, we have to cultivate this tolerance. Otherwise, it will lead to destruction, it will lead to problems of law and order, it will lead to disharmony in the society. If you are having not proper law and order, the country will not develop. Country is not developing means almost all the sections of the population will remain poor. See, without tolerance, there is no peace. If there is no peace, there is law and order problems. If there is law and order problem, the development will not take place. If the development will not take place, the inclusive growth will not happen, which is our objective. Therefore, tolerance is very, very important, and this has been multiple times asked by UPSC. So you have to by heart the definition of the tolerance, and you have to explain you have to provide the answer in a logical way. You can incorporate diagrams, you can incorporate flowcharts. See, if there is no tolerance, then what happens? There will be no peace. There will be law and order problems. If there will be law and order problems, then what happens? Development will stop. If development will stop, then what happens? There will not be inclusive growth, which is our objective. So we will fail in our objective. So if you have intolerance, the most affected will be the marginalized sections, marginalization of the vulnerable groups, and their exclusion from social and political participation. See, in your village, for example, take your village or take your town. Majority section, if they will not understand the minority section's problem, they are not tolerating them, then what will happen? Those minority sections, those marginalized sections will be out from social participation, political participation, economic participation. You are isolating them. If you are isolating them, then they will be having that resentment. If they will be having that resentment, there will be law and order problems. If there is law and order problem, development will not happen. So tolerance is to be exercised by individual at our individual level. When we are working in a group, at a group level means maybe at a political party level, and states, even the governments also have to have this tolerance. If you have no tolerance, what happened in Germany during Second World War? They had no tolerance towards the Jews. The Nazism, it promoted hatred. It promoted intolerance in the society, in the individuals. As a political party, Hitler's Nazi party, they promoted intolerance. So everybody in the German society, they were hating the Jews. So what happened? It led to the destruction. It led to the mindlessness. I have already explained you. That is why in the answers everywhere, most of the questions, you have to quote Gandhiji, because he has given many important values to our Indian society. I have provided you one example here, Gandhi's belief in tolerance and harmony. If there is a tolerance if there is tolerance in individuals, that is a first step. Second step, tolerance in the political parties. What happened when the Nazi party had promoted the intolerance in the society? What happened? It led to the destruction. It led to the marginalization of the Jews, killing of the Jews in a mass scale, which no human society accepts. Genocide happened. Next is compassion toward the weaker section. I have already told you, base of compassion is empathy. If you have empathy as an attitude, what is behavior? Behavior is compassion. You are understanding the other person's problem. You are understanding the other group's problem. Then next step, what you will do? You will help them. As a DM, you know the tribal's problem. When a tribal approaches you, definitely you will help them. You know the problems of women. When an old age woman approaches you, you will help them. So base of compassion is empathy. And multiple times I am telling you, we are a society divided based on so many factors. Therefore, we have to cultivate empathy. We have to cultivate compassion. If you have empathy, compassion will follow. Compassion towards the weaker sections of the society. Weaker sections comprises a major chunk of our population in the Indian society. So as a bureaucrat, you must have these factors of empathy and compassion. You must have this value system embedded in you, so that you will be helping so many sections, so many poorer sections of this society, wherever you are posted. And there is one more angle also I have given here. That is the law of karma. In India, we believe in law of karma. Okay, if something is bad happened to that, if that person is poor, means something must have done in his last life. That's why he is suffering. That kind of attitude is also you are not is problematic, because that kind of attitude is problematic, because in that case you will not help the poor. You will think that maybe he might have committed something bad in his previous life, that's why he is now suffering. Let him suffer. That kind of mentality you will develop. That is also bad. So, compassion is very, very important. Cultivating empathy and compassion in our bureaucrats, in our society, in our children is very, very important. Then again, the question is how to inculcate compassion. Again, same, IAS professionals are sent to Bharat Darshan. Not only IAS professionals, every civil servants. We have been also gone to Bharat Darshan. We have went to so many places across India. Definitely it is very much important, because I have understood, we have gone to Andaman, we have gone to Lakshadweep, we have gone to South India, we have gone to West India, we have gone to Eastern India, Arunachal we have gone to Jammu and Kashmir. So we have understood various cultures, we have understood various traditions, what are the people's lives, what are the problems. Then only you can cultivate empathy. Then only you can cultivate compassion. You can help the poor people. You can help the marginalized groups. You can help the vulnerable groups. At the same time, most of our religions, whether it is a Hinduism, whether it is a Islam, or it is a Christian, all these, or Buddhism, all these religions teach us to help the humanity. You have to, whatever the, even in the Bible, Christianity, what it promotes, whatever the wealth you are having, you have to donate something to the charity. You have to donate something for the poor. That is the ultimate purpose in our lives. What about Hinduism? Hinduism also promotes the same. And at the same time, probationers of the civil servants or the civil servant, they will be taken to slums. They will be taken to old age homes, so that they will understand the problems and they will come up with a solution. They will implement the policies in a better way. When they are posted, after the training, they will be posted. Other values for civil services. The values, whatever we have discussed so far, that has been mentioned in your syllabus. Other than those values, we have some other values in civil services. So many values. You have to know the definition of all of them, and you have to incorporate them in your answers. You have to incorporate them in case studies. You should have better understanding. Then only you can come up with very good answers, very good explanation to your case studies. Especially with the LPG era, with the new public management, what we call, with the new public management era, with the good governance era, where there are multiple players. What is good governance? Good governance means along with the state means along with the government, there are so many other players involved. There are so many other players involved for the welfare of the society, for the betterment of the people. Who are those other players? Private sector, NGO, international organizations, media, etc. And there are other organizations like resident welfare associations. We have self-help groups. There are so many community groups. So government has to work with all these players. Government has to work with all these players to help the people, for the welfare of the society, for the overall development of the country. So we are talking about the creativity. That is one of the value. He must be creative, because today it is a information ICT, it is a IT era, it is a technology era. So you have to provide technology based solutions to help the poor, to help the marginalized. For example, passport. Earlier, passport was only being issued from the passport offices that was headquartered in a state capital. So you need passport, you have to go to state capital to apply for it. But what happened now? Under Passport Seva Kendra project, Ministry of External Affairs has given the option for to the public. It has a tie-up with the Department of Post, so that now you can go to the nearest post office to apply for your passport. So that is the creativity. Those kind of solutions we need to bring the administration at the doorstep of the people and understanding their problems and to solve their problems. And with ICT usage, with the information technology usage, recently I have seen the article where in UP's Uttar Pradesh public distribution system, they have reduced the leakages. Earlier the wheat that was being diverted, that was being, there were perforations, leakages. But now with the induction of technology, it has been reduced to a large extent. And it has saved government exchequer crores of rupees. Those kind of technological interventions. Same with our police system. We have command and control centers in a very bigger cities where everything will be controlled from command and control centers, so that there will be better law and order situation. The traffic can be better managed, and there are so many such e-governance initiatives. You can refer Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances. You can have a look at various e-governance initiatives in their web page. You can mention some of the initiatives in your answers. Similarly, all the electricity bills, all the bills, you can pay through online. And what about the UPI revolution in this country? UPI revolution. In the UPI, to bring that UPI revolution, government agency, what is that agency? NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India, worked with many fintech companies, with all banks, to bring UPI revolution in this country. Everywhere we are using QR codes. We are making QR code based payments. You visit chai shop, 10 rupee for chai, you will do UPI. So government has worked with private sector and it helped so many people. Recent UPI revolution, UPI payments in India, crores of payments are happening. Next is responsiveness. Civil servant has to be responsive to whatever be the challenges, because with the information technology, every day there will be new challenge coming up. You are solving one problem, some other problem will come. How will you will react? How you will find solution to that problem? Next is, this is courage. Courage is very important. Courage is very, very important. It's a very important value, because most of the times we lack courage as a civil servant. We know in the administration, wherever you are posted, we know that there are certain wrong things are happening around us. Maybe our senior officers are involved, maybe politicians are involved. So since our higher officials, politicians are involved, we are just remaining silent. We are not highlighting that problem. Why? Because we lack courage. If civil servants lacks courage, that is a very big problem, and that is a very threat to our society, to our overall development. So civil servants need to have that courage of conviction. Yes, this is wrong, so I should protest it. So what is that courage? Ability to act rightly in the face of popular opposition, shame, scandal. Once you have exposed any wrong things that is happening in the department, you will be victimized. Nobody will talk to you. Everybody will think that he or she is a problematic person. Everybody will avoid you. You will be demotivated. But still, you have to confront all of that. Then only it will be beneficial to the country. It will be beneficial to the society. It will be beneficial to the population. It might be discomfort to you. You might be discouraged. You might be demotivated. You might be facing so many harassments at your workplace. You may be facing so many threats, but still, if you are strong, if you are courageous, then nobody can stop you. And people will love you like anything. Who will benefit most? People will benefit most. Country will benefit the most. But in the process, you might suffer. You might have to take so much of pain. That may be personal, your family might suffer. We have so many examples of such bureaucrats. For example, a bureaucrat like Durga Shakti Nagapal, she successfully faced this mining mafia, sand mafia, especially in Uttar Pradesh, while she was working as a SDM or DM. Similarly, we have officers like Shanmugam, Manjunathan, who you just search these names in internet. You will be surprised to know that many officers have laid their lives, they have died while confronting these mafias. You search for the officers like Shanmugam, Manjunathan. One has worked in IOCL. He was fighting with this oil mafia in Bihar and he was killed. And recently we have seen that one IPS officer in Madhya Pradesh, while he was fighting with the sand mafia, he was killed by a lorry. I have given you one example also here. You are a police officer, you have arrested a criminal, and minister wants to release him. He is putting so many, because as a civil servant, as a DM or SP or SDM or ASP, you have to, or you are working at the secretariat level, you have to work under so many pulls and pressures. So minister, in this case, minister wants to release the criminal, you reject. Then what happens? Minister will be having grudge against you. And he wants to target you. So you will be frightened. So that's what I'm saying. Many people, they know the right path, but they will not follow. They know that these are the wrongs that are happening around me, but they keep silent. Why? If they confront, they will create problems for their own. That's what we are saying, individual versus society. We have already discussed all these angles. I am thinking something good for the society. As an individual, I am suffering. So many of the people, we think that why to suffer? So we remain silent. That is not good for the society. That is not good for the country. That's what we are saying. One more value here I am noting is humility. What is humility? Humble. While talking with the people, you have to be humble. You should not show high-handedness. But even today also, most of the people, they are afraid to go to the police station because police show high-handedness while talking with the public. That is why we are talking humble. Police should talk in a humble terms with the public. As a police officer, you have to talk very humbly with the public. Next is perseverance. Perseverance means sustainability. You will be having so many pulls. You will be having so many pressures. You will be having so many problems. You will be harassed. Your family will be harassed. You will be having so many problems while you are confronting these type of people. Criminals, mafia, political and higher bureaucratic people who are encouraging corruption and all. But still, if you have this value of perseverance, at the end of the day, you will succeed. You will succeed. Because in the process, if you are working for the good cause, one or other will help you. All the forces in the nature will help you. Only thing is that you should have that perseverance. You will have that sustainability. Because as we say, at the younger ages, when we enter the services, we are garam. Means you are very hot. You will bring that idealism into the service. You will not tolerate any wrong happenings. But what happens during the process? After a bureaucrat completed 10 years, he will be having naram. You know naram in Hindi. Softed. Hard to, he was hard and he will now become soft. Then after 20 years of the service, he will become Besharam. You all know the meaning of Besharam. So that is not perseverance. Perseverance means you should be hard throughout your career. You should have zero tolerance to the wrong happenings. Wherever you are posted. You know the officers like Ashok Kemka. He has been transferred more than 25 or 30 times in his career. Why he has been transferred? Because he has been hard throughout his career. Prudence. Prudence means intelligence. Accountability. Whatever be the actions you are doing, you are accountable. That is what we are talking about, the police reforms. What the police reforms are talking about? Police should have that accountability factors. If one police has done something as wrong, he shall be punished. Then only seeing that other police will not do. But if you are not punishing the police officials who have performed certain wrong things, then the other police officer will also do the wrong things. So, not only police, every public official is accountable to the people. Temperance, you have to take the middle path. And you all know the efficiency, equity, effectiveness. You must be knowing the differences between what is efficiency. Efficiency means getting maximum output with minimum input. With least expenditure, you are giving better results. What about equity? Equity means you are helping. You are giving some help to the poorer and marginalized sections of the society so that they will be equal with the other sections of the society. You are helping them maybe through reservations or maybe through various entitlements so that they can be made equal to the other sections of the society. What is effectiveness? Effectiveness means whatever be the programs you are implementing, whatever be the cost you are incurring, at the end of the day, whether it is benefiting the society or not. You, as a part of Swachh Bharat mission, you have constructed the toilets, whether public are utilizing the toilets or not. Or you have constructed the toilet with no water facility. So public will not use. But you will say that I have constructed a toilet. But at the end of the day, whether it is useful to the public, that's what we will see in the effectiveness. All these things, as a district collector, you have to see really whether it is beneficial to the public, whatever be the services we are providing to the public, really public are using that. If public are not using, what are the problems? And how can we solve the problems? With the help of NGOs, with the help of the private sector, or by the government on its own. And how all the schemes meant for the vulnerable sections, whether they are benefiting those vulnerable sections to bring equity. And what is the efficiency factor? Whether whatever the expenditure we are incurring, we should ensure that there are no leakages, there are no pilferages, there is no wasteful expenditure. I have to ensure as a bureaucrat, I have to ensure as a district collector, I have to ensure as a joint secretary of the ministry. So these are all the values. There are so many values with the emergence of the new public management, with the emergence of the good governance era, with the emergence of the LPG. These are all the angles. These angles you have to think with the emergence of internet, information technology, IT. What is the role of bureaucrats? What more values needs to be adapted? For example, with the emergence of IT, we are talking about the creativity. You have to provide creative, innovative solutions to solve the problems. I have given you some examples like Passport Seva project. I have given you example of the using technology in the public distribution system in many state governments, including Uttar Pradesh government recently. These type of examples are available in the most of the government websites. You have to quote them in your answers. Then only you will get very good marks. You have to think from all these angles of the good governance, LPG era, IT era, and what more values can be incorporated in a civil servant. What more values should civil servant needs to adopt in addition to the traditional values that have been mentioned in your syllabus. UPSC has been asking questions as well as case studies from this chapter. This chapter is very, very important. In the next lecture, I will explain you the answers. I will provide you the model answers for few of the previous year questions asked along with case studies. I will also give model answers to the few case studies also. I hope you understood whole chapter 3 all the values. I have explained you the definitions. You have to by heart the definitions and you have to present in your answer. And at the same time, you have to quote so many examples in your answers to have a better quality in your answer, and then only you will get maximum marks in ethics paper. I hope you like this lecture. Please subscribe to my channel, and if you have any doubts, please feel free to mail me. Thank you all.